Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird. Welcome to the Blackbird Grimoire and happy Friday. This is Wicca 303, Becoming a Teacher. But please don't panic at the title of today's class. Taking on the role of teacher in the context of witchcraft does not necessitate you having to endure public speaking of any kind or starting a YouTube channel or anything of that sort. Now, if you've been called to that, wonderful, and I wish you all possible success. But learning how to teach what you've been taught doesn't have to be a public affair, and for most people, it won't be. So breathe a deep sigh of relief if you need to, and then let's discuss this. All of life is really centered on passing on literal life to the next generation, passing on knowledge and skills and wisdom so that those who come after us have the tools they need to thrive. This is a responsibility of all humans, whether they have children or not. And in the case of witches, we have an additional duty to ensure that the craft survives and that the witches who follow us are not in the positions that pagans were in the mid 20th century, who were all but starting from scratch, and they were having to basically reinvent the wheel and go through all of that trial and error. They put in a great deal of hard work just to get us here. So we can't let them down, and we can't let ourselves down, and we should train ourselves to be ready to rise to the occasion when we have the opportunity to pass on what we have learned. In the most basic sense, teaching is a process of providing explanations. No matter the subject matter, the teacher seeks to explain the known and verifiable facts and then provide information about theories and evaluations of those facts. And then the student is left to contemplate the information, hopefully to put that information to the test and prove or disprove the validity of what they've heard. Techniques of teaching is where it gets complicated, and different people will respond favorably to different styles of teachings. And at a certain point, we essentially do well to just trust the gods that the people that have been placed in our path and that are seeking the benefit of our experience are there for a good reason, and we need only do our best to discharge the duty. So I don't want to derail too much into methods of teaching. Begin with what comes naturally to you and just take a moment of how you would explain the fundamentals of Wicca or even its basic premise. The reason why I encourage you to begin your contemplations there is because when someone asks you about your religion, the most usual follow-up after you admit to the fact, yes, I practice Wicca, then there's the question of what does Wicca consist of? So it's handy to already have your thoughts in order for just such an occasion. Once you know what you would say about that, you can examine your response. Do you think it's a good answer? Would that answer have satisfied you when you were beginning your journey? If not, take a moment to improve what you would say and just tweak it until you feel that you have a good explanation on hand. Of course, once you learn how to provide explanations about your beliefs, the next step is to figure out how to help someone else apply that knowledge for themselves. So you could provide ideas for the student to try. Not to worry, these do not have to be impressive or complicated. In fact, probably the simpler and more straightforward, the better. The sooner the student learns that the craft is as practical as it is spiritual, the better. You can ask questions of the student to challenge them to figure out how to use the information themselves. And a byproduct of doing this is that it tends to chase away the lazy people and the people who aren't really serious about their studies. And sometimes it's just that push students need to help them connect the dots and start assuming responsibility for their own spirituality. And you, of course, set an example for the student. The expression actions speak louder than words exists for a good reason. And this also demonstrates that the practical application you've talked about is possible, livable, and beneficial. So, homework for January 12th through January 18th. Number one, a challenge. If someone asked you to explain the concept of, the witch's pyramid and how it's used, what would you tell them? Number two, application. The next Sabbat we have on our calendar is a Malk. How would you advise a student to purify for the occasion, and what would you suggest for their own ritual? And three, example. To be a witch is to live your craft. What daily acts would you suggest for a student, and are you doing those things yourself? So that's just something for you to contemplate, to try out, experiment with. That's what I have for you this week. Next week, we'll be talking about the concept of hibernation, which, if you're where I am, it's chilly indeed. And I'm sure hibernation sounds good to all of us. But in the meantime, comments, questions, concerns, complaints, leave them for me in the comment section below, or shoot me off an email at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com, and we will have a good discussion there. Either way, but that'll do it for now, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.